Hello, Scribblers. I'm Katie, the founder and CEO of the Scribblers Den, your online source for writing craft courses and writing community. We've got another incredible interview, and I'm never sure which side they're actually going to end up, so I'm going to point both directions. Today, we have the fabulous AC Wonderland with us. AC has always loved telling stories. When she was 8, she wrote and drew an entire 20-page book for school. And I do want details on this eventually, even though the assignment was only to write one page. AC thrives on writing novels that let a reader get lost in a whirlwind romance. In July of 2024, her first book came pouring out of her, and she created a 36 chapter outline and wrote the first 3 chapters of One Shot, her debut novel, in less than 2 hours, which again, we're going to have questions about this. When she's not writing, AC loves traveling, frequenting country music concerts, and of course, going to hockey games. So thank you so much. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. Yes, I will definitely share details. And I apologize in advance if you hear my dog. There's another dog barking outside, so hopefully he reins it in during this. But
We
he's
love a good
also one
dog
of
of
my
yours.
my favorite things. Yes, you'll see him. He kind of hops around. He loves also if I'm writing on the couch to like see what I'm doing, and it cracks me up because I'm like, you also want to write and be a part of this process, don't you?
He's putting in his editorial input. I have a very strong team of fur editors here with me, and they're always getting in on it.
Love it.
All right. Well, let's start with your path to publication. Your first book sounds like it was just born from this perfect storm of creativity, ambition, and passion. So, were you writing it all before that? And just how did this all come to be?
Yeah, I have kind of always written, as you can tell by the 20 page, my teacher was like excited, but also like, oh my gosh, I have to grade 20 pages. This was only supposed to be one page. I'm pretty
That's
sure
such
my
a
dad
real
still has
teacher
it.
fear, though, because I'm like, oh my God, I love this. I'm so happy for you. But, dude,
Also,
I
yeah.
cannot read this whole thing.
Yeah, so it's something that I've always done, and I kind of was just looking for an outlet, and it was like right place, right time. It just kind of happened. I have a day job, and I was not super thrilled with my day job, and I was really losing that passion and like motivation of working every day, and I had never felt that before. So I was like, what can I do to re-find that spark? And I just started writing, and it came into this whole new experience. And probably almost exactly a year ago, a little shy of a year ago, is when I started writing One Shot. And like I mentioned, it came pouring out of me. I had and still do have like as an author, you probably understand. I have like 20 projects going on at all times, and I started,
Yeah.
you know, outlining through different things, but this one I just dove right in, was like, this is the story I have to tell. It happens to be that I love hockey, and got to combine my love for reading, writing, romance, and hockey all into one thing. So, like you said, it was just like the perfect storm, perfect timing, and everything really aligned in the way it was supposed to. So I really lucked out.
No, that's awesome. I think because often when we do think about writing a story, we're like, okay, well, I started writing this here, and then 5 years later is like the normal publishing timeline for a lot of things. And there are ones like you kind of you got yours, you wrote it, you got it out there, and there are other people who do that. And I'm just always impressed because I'm like, oh, like you were just like it just all worked out, the stars aligned for you, and I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how sometimes still. I'm also like, that was my first book. I can't hold myself to that timeline all the time, but I'm
Right.
still trying to. Um, when I find that like spark, I don't stop. And that's something that I like continually have to remind myself is like, okay, if I have it, don't stop. But when I need the time, take the
Mhm.
time, because that's a great way to protect your mental health too, is like to recognize when you're going to reach burnout and when you need a break.
Yeah,
Which
that's
I
so
know we'll
smart.
we'll talk more about later. But yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, and we'll get to that later. You're right. Because I do have a question about all that. So we'll skip, not really skip, but we'll just move forward into the actual publishing process for One Shot. As an indie author, what has it been like, and what made you choose that route over traditional?
Yeah, it's been chaotic to say the least. I did a lot of research and read a lot of different articles, a lot of different books. Joanna Penn has some amazing resources if anybody's looking for some. I read a lot of her self-publishing like guide books, and there was one in particular that I read that really broke down like if you want this and want this, you might be interested in indie. If you want this and want this, you might be interested in traditional. So I kind of made a list of what I want, and at the end of the day, I just really wanted a team that was as excited and passionate as I am about what I'm doing. And it's not to say you can't find that in the traditional route, you 100% can. But for me, I also wanted the control as well. It's like for lack of a better term, it's my book baby.
Mm,
And to be able to have control of that process. And I think the biggest thing for me was timeline because I wanted to be able to dictate the timeline of when different edits were due, when the covers were due, when the release date was, and things like
right.
that. But that's really what my main reason was, is because I really wanted to like hand select that team and find people that were just as excited as I was. And I'm lucked out being able to do that. I think the other reason is because I wanted to wear all of the hats that come with self-publishing, from actually writing to being kind of a manager in terms of like hiring your
Mm,
team, finding your team, doing the marketing, doing advertising, planning events, all of those things in one. So it's really been an exciting experience. Definitely a little overwhelming at times, but I love being able to kind of what's the term is like from soup to nuts or something like that, which I don't understand that saying,
yeah.
but like I like to be involved in every aspect of it. So that's really why I took that route.
And I really love that phrasing that you use, like you wanted to wear all the hats. I think that's so accurate. Because when you look at different publishing scenarios, like a traditionally published author, they're mostly just in charge of like they write the manuscript and they edit it. And
Mhm.
everybody else does everything and makes those final decisions. So they don't even get like input sometimes on what's going to happen. They're just like,
Right.
this is what it is. They're just told. Whereas in like your scenario, you're really getting to have your hands in there and be a part of every step. And I think that's really fantastic.
Yeah, yes. I definitely my day job is in the marketing and advertising world, and that's what I've done my entire career, like since I graduated college. I went to college for marketing. So that's really another reason why, is because I was like, I like the fact that I can do marketing for myself is
Yeah.
so fun versus doing it for another brand. It's something I've done for years, but doing it for yourself just has like it's a different kind of rewarding. So I really wanted
Mm,
to keep that aspect too.
yeah. And I feel like marketing is one of the more difficult aspect for like us regular people. I know like as a small business owner, I'm like marketing, like I don't know what's happening. I don't know how to do this. Um, so I would love to have somebody else do that. So I
Yeah.
love
Well,
that
if
you
you
have
ever
that
want to chit
background. That's
chat
really
about it,
cool.
I'm happy to be a resource. So let me
Yeah,
know.
I might have to, we might have to have another conversation because I'm on the struggle bus as far as marketing is concerned. But it's also okay. Like I realize that that's just not the hat that I'm meant to wear. um, all right. So in one shot, you have a dedication, and I really, really loved it. So I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then I have some questions for you. All right. So for the girl in the mirror who never put herself first, never felt good enough, and surrounded herself with people who made her feel that way. You have always been more than good enough. You wrote a damn book. For anyone who has experienced a relationship fueled by toxicity and laced with any type of abuse, you are not alone. You matter. You are more than what that vile person makes you feel. Your story deserves a happy ending. Never forget that. Um, I get chills when I read it. It's so amazing. So many books are dedicated to like a specific person or like their family or things like that. But you dedicated it kind of to yourself and
Mhm.
then to what is unfortunately, this very large demographic of people. I love both of those choices. So can you just like walk us through your decision to write this dedication and why it was so important to you?
Yeah, I might tear up a little bit, so
Okay.
forewarning. I there's a song called Girl in the Mirror, which I have a playlist that goes with the book, and we'll have one continually for each book in the series. But it's by Megan Maroney, and it's really just talking about like you don't recognize yourself because of the people that you're around. And to be able to kind of get through that relationship or get through those that toxic environment and do something that I never thought I would do was wild to me. It was a very, very healing experience that I didn't know I needed. And because of that, I also wanted to include that, like you said, unfortunately large group of people. I think the stat is, I haven't looked at it in a while, but I think it's like 1 in 4 people in the U.S., 1 in 4 women in the U.S. have a abusive relationship, and it's because of someone that they know. So that's crazy. If there are two more people in the room, like it's
Right.
one of four, 25%. And people don't talk a lot about it, but so many people experience it. And I obviously have had some type of tie to that, which hence the dedication. So I wish that someone would have told me that years ago.
Yeah.
And I would say the amount of people who I have actually had reach out to me on social media and like thanked me for that was something I never imagined. So very, very happy with the dedication. The next one will be very heartfelt, but not as emotional.
Mhm.
So definitely something I want to continue to do. And it was my first book, so I really did it for myself at the end of the day. Didn't imagine that so many people would read it or that I would be talking about it. So very exciting, but thank you for sharing that. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no,
it.
thank you for like kind of giving us the background and just
Yeah,
like congratulations
thank
on
you.
every part of like your journey up to this and just in celebrating yourself. I think so many times women specifically, but just authors in general, we don't want to celebrate ourselves because we're
Yeah,
always
you
looking for
should.
those next milestone.
It's But it's hard.
Yeah.
Everything that like writing a book that I'm a huge like stats person. I haven't someone shared it with me, so I don't know how exact it is, but it's like 3% of people who start writing a book finish a book,
Mhm.
like
It
finish
is
writing.
low.
And of that 3%, less than 1% actually publish. So it's hard. And I mean, you know it is. It's a difficult thing. And to be able to get through that process and actually have a book that you can tangibly hold at the end of the day is incredible. And we should celebrate it more.
Yes.
Um, One thing that I am a big believer in is, and kind of why I wrote the dedication too, is um, I think that everything happens for a reason. Like as cheesy and cliche as that is, like every step of the journey that you've taken, whether it's been negative or positive, like has gotten you to where you are today. And
Mhm.
no, I don't wish some of those negative experiences on anyone. But if I didn't have those, I wouldn't have written this book, and I wouldn't want to change that for the world.
That's beautiful. I feel
Thank
like
you.
interview done. That's our ending. That was beautiful. That's also a lie, Scribblers. We're gonna keep going because I have so many more questions. But that's honestly that's a beautiful way to put all
Thank
that.
you.
Um, so for me, I know that as I write, I tend to work through a lot of different aspects of my own mental health. And sometimes I'll look
Um,
back, like even on an old manuscript, and I'll be like, oh my God, I was going through like XYZ. Do you have a similar experience when you write, or did you have an experience like that when writing one shot in particular?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I never really sought out like I wanted there to be a mental health aspect of the book, but I never really thought that I would write about domestic violence or being in an abusive relationship, and it kind of just happened. It was so therapeutic. It was something that I didn't realize I was still healing from because it was, over 10 years ago. So something that I don't really think a lot about. But once I wrote it, I just felt like this weight lift off of me that I didn't even recognize was there. There's also a lot of talk in the book about grief and stress and anxiety, and all of those things are so prevalent in everyday life that I think it's really important to continue to talk about. And for me, like kind of writing about that helps me get through my own stressors too. And it's something that specifically in this series, but also in some other books as well, I'd like to continue to focus on and have mental health rep included because I think that's so important and something that's really close to my heart and something that I think a lot of people are a lot more open about hearing and reading and discussing now, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a huge shift, and it's just so many more books and characters, and they're actually addressing these things instead of just hiding them in the background. Um, and I also feel like my therapist always wants me to journal. She's like, "Why don't you journal?" I'm like, "No, I can't journal. Not doing
Right.
it."
I'm like, no, no, I write. I can't write that way. It's
Yeah.
very different. But sometimes you find, like, I don't know if you've found this, but sometimes when I'm writing, I realize that's exactly what I'm doing is
Yes.
putting my feelings on pages, but doing it through characters.
And
And
then
I
I
find
can I
that
can
more
look at it.
therapeutic and
Yeah.
helpful.
Yep.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
can take
And it's
almost like that
also,
objective view.
yes, exactly. And it makes it more relatable and digestible, I think,
Yes.
too.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't journal. I'm just going to make up fictional people in a
Right.
fictional world, and
Exactly.
then they'll go through the same thing. It'll be fine.
Exactly. Love it. I'm glad we both can agree on that. It's a great experience. I really like being able to do that. Like it's a very different type of outlet that I never really knew I would have. But I hope more people like discover that too because it really has helped me along like my mental health journey to have that as a therapeutic outlet.
Yeah. And this actually segues perfectly into my next question, which is, which we mentioned very briefly, but we're seeing a lot more books on the shelf that are pulling the curtain back on what it's like to live and function with less than stellar mental health. So I just really kind of love to hear what you think about this trend in the market and whether or not you think it appeals to readers.
Yeah, I love this trend. Like it's something that, sorry if you can hear my dog. It's something that I didn't really seek to do when I started writing, but something that I just needed. Like we just talked about, like I
Mm,
realized it was like very therapeutic for me. And I've started to read more and more books that have this trend as well. And I think it's so important because it is reality. And like,
yeah.
yes, we read books to escape but also we read books to connect and to be able to feel that connection through whether it's an author or a reader or the story or whatever it might be,
Mm,
to know like you're not alone and other people are going through that. It's a different more deep kind of connection that I think we can
yeah.
really get through books, which is incredible. You know, people use it a lot as an escape from, you know, their everyday lives and like maybe don't want some of those mental health themes. They're like reminders of it. But then once you kind of get there, you realize like, okay, this is something that I needed to heal in my own journey by
Mhm.
reading it and having that connection too. So I love it. I think it's really important, and I'm glad that people are continuing to have more of the conversation. And I think it's
Yeah.
just going to continue to grow, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I have to say, most of the authors I've interviewed, they all have like similar feelings. They're all very like, well, I wanted
Okay,
to
I
talk
love
about
that.
mental health and I wanted to bring this in. So I just think I love it. As someone who has parents, hi mom, because sometimes she watches these, who are not fans of therapy, just because it's like a generational thing, that just like
Yes,
nobody
definitely.
talked about it. And then we're all out here being like, okay, so I have to fix this somehow. And you can fix it with books, with going to a therapist, all these different things. So I'm a fan.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I haven't really thought about that before, but it is its own type of like reading those books is its own type of therapy. So
Mm-hmm.
everything works different for different people. So maybe
Yeah.
it is going to really help someone just by sharing your experience or like by sharing your character's experience. Like there are some, like for example, there's a lot of grief. There's a loss of a family member in one shot, and I have lost my grandma, but I haven't lost someone as close to me as the main character does. So
Mm-hmm.
I, you know, hadn't experienced that before. But being able to research, write about it, connect with people that were able to share their stories with me, I feel like that's been really helpful for like I've had people reach out to me about that specifically, and I like the abusive relationship or domestic violence is like okay that I understand people reaching out to me about, but
Right.
the grief I did not expect at all. So the fact that you can write something that even you haven't experienced and still help someone is
Mm-hmm.
incredible, and that's really at the end of the day like that's what I would love to do. Not only give people that escape, but give them that little piece of whatever it is that they need to get through their day or to feel like they really aren't alone.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's amazing. Um, so with all of these things and having to like, and I love that readers are reaching out to you, because I just like I know as an author when somebody reaches out to me about something I've written, I'm like, oh, butterflies, like warm fuzzies, I'm
Oh
so
yes,
happy.
definitely.
um so you kind of get that positive from maybe some not so great things, which is a good return, right? But how do you also just balance taking care of yourself and your own mental health with all the stresses that not only come with being an author, but with someone who, like you are, like you said, like you're kind of like working through some of your own mental
Mhm.
health issues, and sometimes those end
Yeah.
up on the page. And like, how do you keep yourself well and healthy?
Yeah, it's a balance. It's something also I'm learning, and that's something that I continually have to remind myself is like, this is new to me, and I'm, even if it's not new to me, like the only constant we have in our life is change. And
Yeah,
I try to focus on, I want to say I focus on one thing at a time, but I'm doing 20 things at a time mostly. But making sure that I do understand like when I am hitting fatigue or when I feel burnt out, and giving myself grace. Like it's something I've really had to teach myself. And I think that's something I do really like about the indie author route is I can give myself that time when I really
yeah,
need it. And being cautious of my mental health, like reaching that burnout or when I feel too overwhelmed. I have anxiety, I have ADHD. I'm full believer in medicating, so like that has definitely helped. Therapy always helps as well, but also when I need to, taking a step back. And
mhm,
sometimes this is something that I've struggled to learn. Like sometimes if I am writing a chapter and I just am not feeling it, I can step away. I don't have to finish that chapter. I can write something else. I can pivot and do something else I need to accomplish. Like it's okay to walk away. And that's something I'm just continually trying to remind myself is like I can always walk away and come back. I don't know if you feel this way, but like I do not write in order. I tried so hard. I'm like, nope, I have to go to chapter three. I just wrote chapter two, and I'm like, well, chapter three is just not my vibe. I'm not feeling that way right now. Like maybe I'm having a hard day. So I'm gonna skip and like write chapter 15 because that's an angsty chapter and that's my mood right now.
mhm.
So I am kind of a mood reader, but I'm definitely a mood writer, which I didn't even know was the thing.
Yeah, no, I love talking to people who do write out of order and out of sequence because I can't for the most part. I'm very much like I'm very linear. Um,
Yeah.
and but only like every now and then I'll just be like, oh, this is what's going to happen later, and it just infects my brain. And if I don't write it, then I'll never move on. But that's
100%.
very rare for me. I'm like, no, this is what happened. Even if it's just there's going to be a big fight, and then they're going to run away, and then I can move on. But I have to do something to like fill that space.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. And I was very like I am very type A, so I love to be organized. I
Mhm.
love like I have a planner for like a weekly planner where I'm like, this is what I'm doing each day specifically for like my author career. And I have a personal planner and I have like my day job planner. So he very type A,
Yeah.
lots of spreadsheets, all of the things. So I was so surprised when I went out of order because I was like, who am I? Can I do this? But I found that it just really helped me, like you said, like get that out.
Mhm.
And now I do it all the time. Like I was just writing the epilogue for the third book, even though the third book is the second book's not out. But I was just writing the epilogue, and I haven't written the middle. But I know how what the epilogue's going to be. So it's like, well, I already wanted to write this. Like, I don't know if you are guilty of this, but sometimes I'll be driving and I get an idea, so I just speak into my phone, and then I need to email it to me later. So I was like tweaking the epilogue of the third book, and I was like, how am I doing this when I haven't even written like the 10th chapter yet? But that's okay.
Oh my gosh, I have never done the speaking into my phone thing because I get so weirded out by thinking my ideas out loud, even when I'm by myself. And I don't know why I'm like, no, I have to write it. And like, even if I'm by myself, sometimes I'm like, I have to write secretively, like nobody can see this. And like, who's going to see me? My cat, my
You
dog.
never know. Cats are sneaky.
Yeah, it's
No,
so
that's funny.
weird.
My family's in Chicago. I'm based in Nashville, so I drive 7.5, 8 hours, and like there will be anything will spark something for me. Like I kid you not, like a street sign. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, that's a great last name. I need to write it down, and then like I'm thinking about the last name, and then I'm thinking about a character, and then my
I
brain
just
just
say it
doesn't
over and
stop.
over and over again
Yes.
as I drive. I'm like, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then I get to where I'm going, like, I'm going to write this down. And then I completely forget. I'm like, what? What was that?
Yeah, and that's why you should try it. And I will say sometimes my phone does not understand me because I'm talking to, so I'll have to be
Yeah.
like I talk really slow and I enunciate everything
Mhm.
because I had an instance where I like pretty much like wrote this whole chapter into my phone and then I emailed it to myself and I was like, this doesn't even make sense. But it did when I was talking, so she just didn't capture it right because
Right.
I talked too fast. So I was like, I take it slow, enunciate, but I definitely recommend. Very
Yeah, no,
helpful.
I think I need to get better at it. I need to.
You
That
could always
will be
get
one of my goals.
an old school tape recorder too and play it back to you. I know there's like that capability on phones, but there's
Mm,
something about like having a device for that that would kind of be a
yeah,
different kind of therapeutic too.
it would. It would. I like it. But then that also means I have to listen to myself.
Yeah, that I don't like. I don't like to do.
Yeah, and I feel like that's hard enough because I listen to myself when I edit these videos, and I'm like, oh,
Right.
like I've gotten better, but it's so weird.
Definitely something I've had to get more comfortable with
Yeah.
is listening to myself, videoing myself,
Mhm.
all of those things. As I like to be behind the camera, so I'm like, okay, I need to get myself more comfortable.
Yeah.
So I try to weave that into my schedule too, of like,
Mhm.
okay, like this week I'm gonna make 4 videos, which means I have to get ready, I have to do my hair, I have to do all these things, but
Yeah.
I will try to plan for it. So it's always practicing a million things at a time.
Yeah. And I feel like that's also just something that as authors we don't always think about. Like we are going to have to do some type of marketing, whether
Yeah.
it's created for us by our marketing team or we do it ourselves. And we are going to end up doing interviews or on Zoom calls. And so it's just something that we've got to get kind of have to get over. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most rewarding things about the publishing process, or not even the publishing process, but just becoming an author is like
Mhm.
getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like you're pushing
Yes.
yourself outside your comfort zone so much. And like, I don't know about you, but when I started, I didn't think about that at all. I was just like, I want to write a book. And I started to write, and I guess I'll share it with people. And I didn't think about all the things that came with it
Mhm.
until I started researching it and was like, okay, I'm going to have
People are
to
going to ask
really.
me questions about this.
Yes, and then but it's a really different kind of growth I never like expected to have.
Mhm.
So it's very rewarding.
Yeah, I would agree. I love it, and my favorite thing to do now is I used to have breakfast every week with one of my friends, and she would read for me, and so we would sit at breakfast, like at a Perkins, like getting waffles or whatever, and she would have my book in front of her, and she would just read, and I would just be sitting there like eating my waffle, stressing out, and then every now and then she'd look up at me and be like, "You have a past participle here," or some like there were like positive things in there too, but she was just like, no, this is wrong and this is wrong. So I kind of got really good at that, like having somebody read my work right in front of me. But that's the only skill I've really developed so far.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think I would be terrified. I already am terrified when I love my editor. She's wonderful. She's one of my favorite humans.
Mhm.
But every time I'm like, why do you hate me? Like, I thought this was, and I'm like,
Yeah.
obviously, I know that's not the case. Like, she's trying to make it better, and I've learned an insane amount from her. But I think someone doing it in front of me would be really nerve-wracking. I would be like, hey, what part are
Really
you at?
weird.
Did you get to this part yet? Or,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah,
don't know
I'd be
how
looking
people.
over and be like, okay, well, she got past that and she didn't say anything. Like maybe she hated it. I don't know. Like,
I will say that's one thing that I've done with my beta readers, not in person, but when I have like very specific
mhm.
questions. So I'll have like 3 surveys, and I'm like, okay, once you get like chapter 1 to 12, fill out the survey because
Yeah.
there's things, I don't know if you feel this way, but I'm like, there's things that I'm get stuck on. And I'm like, okay, did I capture this right? Does
Right.
this add to the story? Is this chapter necessary? Do you like this new POV? So I found that really helpful is to get like feedback on exactly what is like I'm swirling on
Mhm.
from beta readers. So definitely like not in person because I don't know if I could go through that, but I will say the like Google Forms, having them fill out like a
Yeah.
little sheet has been so helpful.
Yeah, no, that is a really good way to do it. So now that like segues perfectly into our next question, right? What does your publishing team overall look like? Do you have a writing community, beta readers? Do you hire editors, cover designers? How much do you do on your own versus how much do you outsource?
Yeah. I wish I could design covers on my own. I have a lot of other friends that can, and one day, like, it's one of my new life goals to have a cover I designed.
Mhm.
But I am not that artistic, and I do not know how I found her through Instagram, and her name is Tina, and I don't know how she did it. Like, the cover for One Shot is exactly like, it's like she took what was in my head and just put it on a page, and I have no idea how because I feel like I didn't really give her good direction, but she is so freaking talented. So she's kind of the main person I work with, and she's done some character art for me as well. And I've worked with a few other people to do some character art. Really just connecting with people through Instagram, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm very big on Instagram. I do have TikTok, but people might judge me, but I hate TikTok. Even as like someone who works in advertising and marketing, like I'm not a huge fan of TikTok. It's necessary. People love it. I'm just not one of those people.
Mm.
But there's so many writer communities. There's so many groups on Facebook, so many groups on Instagram. I don't really use Discord a lot, but there's, a lot of groups on there. And it's great to have a community of writers who some are traditionally published, some are not, but it's great
Yeah.
to have someone to like bounce ideas off of. And also like kind of makes you feel more secure when you're like, hey, I'm going through this, or like, hey, I got a bad review. I need to complain to someone, and like they get it.
Yes.
Especially because there's so much that goes into, I mean, we've already talked about it, but there's so much that goes into the process that people don't understand. And
Yeah.
to have that group of people that truly do know what you're going through and what you experience through that publishing journey is so helpful. I do have an editor. She does all types of editing. Like I'm lucked out. I only have one. I'll probably work with some additional in the future, but she is just, I also found her through Instagram somehow. She's wonderful. So I work with her. I do have beta readers and a street team, which is just people that I kind of have found through ARCs and just kind of connected. And I actually started a Bookstagram before I started writing.
Okay.
Um, fun fact, if it wasn't for SJM, I would not have written a book. And it's not because she sparked my idea. It's because
Mm.
I love ACOTAR. Who doesn't? And I really, really, really wanted stickers, and I couldn't find the stickers I wanted. So I created them myself, and I then created a Booksta account and found all of these amazing people, and then was like, well, they're so supportive. They all read ARCs, like they could read mine. So like, why don't I just do it? So it has nothing to actually do with ACOTAR aside from the fact that I was like, it's how I found the
Right.
community, which is great. And my older sister actually purchased the books for me because she wanted to force me to read them. You can see them right there on the
Yeah.
shelf.
Good job. Good job, older
Um,
sister. Congratulations.
Yes, yeah. So she's like, so really it was me that's why you wrote, and it's
Yeah.
because I sent you the books, and without me you wouldn't have written a book. And I was like, sure, we can, but I'm very thankful she did send me ACOTAR. It's phenomenal. But so I just met so many people that were already really ingrained in like the art community, and I was like, what does ARC even stand for when I came? I was like, I don't know. But now I have this great group of people. I have like a small street team. I have some PR teams that I work with too. That's something I
Mm.
kind of outsource because the PR element is more on the organic side and not something that I'm like as familiar with. And as you know, you wear a lot of hats, and sometimes you can't fit all of the hats on your head. You need to give them to someone else. So also have a wonderful PA named Miranda that I met actually because she was one of my ARC readers, and she happens to live in the Nashville area. So we just
Mm.
became really good friends,
Oh,
and she
good.
was interested in kind of looking for an assistant gig, and I was like, cool, do you want to be mine? So that, yeah, all through really just connections on social media, which I always joke with my mom, like, remember when you told me not to talk to strangers online, and now that's all I
Because they were all
do?
axe murders. Yes.
Right. Yes. And like, no, there are wonderful people out there that you can like, it's just all about connection. And that is beautiful because you're connecting over something that someone hadn't, like, it was in their head, and that
Mm.
blows my mind sometimes to think about like ACOTAR, like, how is all of that in one person's head? Um, but yeah, so really just connecting with people online. There's so many different resources. I'm part of the Alliance for Independent Authors, which has like
Mm.
a million different resources. And they have, groups of people where it's like, if you need an editor, here's some suggestions. If you need this, here's some suggestions. So there's just so many resources out there. But somehow I found all of my team through social media, which is crazy.
I feel like that's so true though. That's where my first writing community came from was like I met my best writing friend on Twitter back when Twitter was like really cool. And you
It's
know,
still cool. It's just it changed its name.
I
A little different
guess.
now.
I don't know. But like we're going on 10 years now and we
Oh
talk every
yeah.
day. We go on like yearly writing retreats together. Um, and it's only been recently, like in the past 2 years, which I think COVID was part of this, obviously.
Yeah.
But like the past 2 years that I've really found like an in-person writing community
I
around me.
love
So
that.
it's, I feel like that's so true. Like we just have to find those people out on the internet and that they are not axe murderers as much anymore.
No. Yes. Yeah. There's less of those nowadays.
Yes.
More people writing about them instead.
Yes. Letting you know, like, don't hang out with that person, axe murderer.
Yes.
So yeah. All right. So you had one shot published, and you have two more books publishing this year. One of which is going to be book two in the Wyverns Hockey trilogy. You have an awesome contest on your website that I saw where readers can guess
Yeah.
the titles of these other books releasing, the other book releasing this year and another future release. And then you can win copies of those. So can you just tell me how you came up with this amazing contest and just
Yeah.
how, because this is genius. This is genius.
Yeah, I love Easter eggs. There are so many Easter eggs in one shot, and some of them, like, if you don't personally know me, you might not recognize it, or if you don't know a ton about hockey, you might not recognize it. Like, for example, every player has a hockey number, even if it's not mentioned, and every number is specific to an actual hockey player that has a meaning to me. So the main character, Lucas Donato, is number 98 because of Connor Bedard, who's big star on the Chicago Blackhawks. He's just turned 20 years old, so he's super young, but so, so good. So everyone kind of has, sorry, my dog is barking. Everyone kind of has their number for a reason, but there's so many Easter eggs in it. Like there's a specific Easter egg for my little sister that she caught, and her friend was reading it, and her friend texted me and was like, "Oh my gosh, is this because of your sister?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay." I was like, "No one caught that yet because no one knows about that." So it was just fun to have, and I wanted to integrate something where, excuse me, if you maybe don't know me or don't know hockey, you could still try to find it. And I just came up with the idea to put two titles within the book. They're not hockey related because if they were hockey related, I think it'd be too easy.
Mhm.
Because there's, I say like next shot, last shot, all the shots a million times, and like
Yeah.
those, who knows if I'll use
That'd be a
those for
little too
titles.
obvious.
Yes, yes. So they're not hockey related, and I just thought it would be fun. No one has found them yet. I've had
Has
people
anybody gotten
guess.
close?
No, no one has gotten close. But I will say one of the titles that is in one shot is also in Summer Shot, which is book two. So it's not easy to find,
Gotta
but it's
compare the
still fun to
text.
try to find. So yes, so it will be in there also. And I don't have a timeline exactly of when I'm releasing those two specific books,
Mhm.
just because I've had so many other ideas. So one might come out this year. They both might come out next year. I'm
Okay.
not 100% sure yet, but that just means you have more time to try to find the Easter eggs. So I'm very excited. Yeah, if you think you know, feel free to send an email. I've had a lot of people guess, but no one's gotten there yet.
Fascinating. No, I love that. And I love that you're kind of like doing shout outs to your own work. I do that in my books. I'll put in like references to other stories I've written and other
Yes,
characters. I'm like, I've already created them. Like, why not use them as
right.
this?
Exactly. And that's for me what I do too. Like every book I have will have something related to
Mhm.
another book. Like there's always ties.
Yeah.
And whether it's, I mean, there definitely are titles, but there are like other hints throughout different books of like mentioning something or like mentioning someone that's like a friend of a friend or
Right.
family or something like that. And to me, I'm like, well, it's all one world because it's all my world that I created. So they
Yep.
do interconnect. And I just think it's fun, especially when you're reading like maybe in a year when you read a different book and you're like, oh my gosh, this person like
Yeah.
this person was in one shot and now I understand like where that connection was.
Yes.
I just think it's fun to do, and I know a lot of authors do that. Like I know SJM is one that does that too, that intertwines her series, and I think it's fun for people to try to find.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously Taylor Swift is the queen of Easter eggs, so
That's who I was
wanted
just
to try
thinking of.
to,
I'm like, oh my God, like
yeah.
her turn. We're all trying to like emulate like the Taylor Swift
I
conspiracy
mean, it's a really good marketing tactic, I will say, because it gets people interested, to try to figure out what they are.
theory.
But no one will ever get to her level. Definitely
No,
not.
she is the
She's a
absolute
she's a
queen.
marketing genius, or her and her team are
Yes.
brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw like all the buzz now because she was like filming a new music video the other day in Los Angeles.
Oh,
And so they're like, oh, her next thing, like it's people are all over. My Instagram feed is filled with it because I
oh,
am
that's too funny.
I'm a low level Swiftie, but I'm still a Swiftie.
I am also like I'm in the very low. I think that she is brilliant. I
Yeah.
appreciate her. I'm just like such a country fan, so I don't listen to her music as much. I would still pay stupid money to see her though, I will say. I haven't yet because it's been hard to get tickets, but I
Yes.
would.
Yeah. I locked into seeing her last summer. We
Oh,
ended up getting
fun. How
tickets
was
in
it? Was it
Ireland. It
epic?
was amazing. So we saw her in Dublin.
In Ireland too.
Yes.
That's see, I feel like that's what you have to do is go and I'm like perfect
Yeah.
excuse to go to another country. I
Yeah,
love
it really
that.
was. And
That's
it just worked out when she released the dates. My writing friends and I, like we were going to Italy actually for our writing retreat that year.
love that.
And
That's so
so
cute.
her concert was like another like 4 days after our retreat ended. And we were just like, what if we just stayed another 4 days?
Oh my gosh, I love it. And then you get to experience another country, and then it's
Yeah,
probably cheaper also,
it
like to see
was.
like the ticket at least. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it was
awesome.
it
I'm
was
gonna have to look into
ridiculously
that.
cheap, all said and done. But all right, we're getting off track.
Sorry.
It's okay. So a quick follow up to this releasing, multiple books and just having all these ideas and projects and irons in the fire. How do you manage to keep your schedule straight between drafting, copy edits, revisions, preparing for launch, etc.? Because that's just so much. So tell us your
Mhm.
organizational secrets.
Yeah, I don't have it in here. But I have this notebook that's literally it's a planner, but it's weekly and it breaks out. So each page is a week and it has like a section for each day. So I
Okay.
literally plan out my like every Sunday I plan out my week of like I'm writing here, I'm editing here, I'm doing this, I'm emailing like 50 bookstores, I have this interview and like I really plot it out
Mhm.
every Sunday. And I also have like a writing schedule and an Excel draft where I have like everything I'm working on. Even if I haven't started it yet, I still have it like in every book has its own column pretty much. And I try to plot out like when I'm editing, when I'm writing, where I should be in terms of writing. Like sometimes we know I hop around, so like it's not
Right.
always accurate, but it really helps me focus on like, okay, today I need to write one chapter and I need to edit 5 chapters. And I also have a meeting with someone at 6 p.m. So here's how I can fit that in. I also have a day job. So like
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult to fit in. But having like my planner and my spreadsheet, like spreadsheet is purely dedicated to writing and like any days where I can't write because I might have an event or an interview. I also have a giant list on my phone. Like I put stuff in my calendar, but it's easy for me to look at a list with dates of days I'm busy instead of looking at a calendar because then I
Mhm.
can just look at the list. So I have like as many tools as possible. I have like online, on my phone, and physical. And I feel like having those three kind of mix like really helps me stay organized. And I try, it doesn't always happen, but I really try to focus on like one day at a time. This is what I'm doing today. Whatever I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow, I'll worry about tomorrow. So it kind of mitigates some of that stress to focus on just have it on my arm, one thing at a time, just focusing on like this is what I'm doing right now. And then worrying about the rest later.
Right. And then I really like what you mentioned earlier. I feel like we're going way back in the beginning of the interview, but like that grace to like not necessarily walk away, but to pivot and say, today, like this, I know that this is what's on my schedule as far as writing, but it's not working and that I have to step away to take care of myself. So just like always giving yourself that grace to change the schedule as needed.
Yeah, exactly. And I try to bake in like I am, like I said, very type A, so I do have like chapter one this day, 2 days later, chapter two, 2 days later, chapter
Mhm.
three. But I also am like, I'm writing multiple books in tandem. I'm also editing. I'm also doing marketing. I also have a day job. I also travel. I also have a dog that keeps barking and all of those things. But I try to also think about that when I'm like, okay, I don't have to write 10 chapters this week. I'm in control of my
Right.
schedule, so I can just write two. And like, if I don't write those two, that's okay. Like, I bake in extra time usually at the end and try to say like, okay, by X date. I want to get it to my editor. This is like the first date, and like
Mhm.
2 weeks later, this is like the last date. So I can
Yeah,
at least bake in some of that time. And luckily, she's been able to work with that. And I've kind of just like told her up front, like, here's what I'm thinking, and like, here's the absolute last date that does this work for you? And sometimes she's like, actually, you can have extra time because I'll be working on something. And that's always great because
right.
whenever she gives me extra time, I need it.
Like, thank you.
But yeah. Yes, yeah, but lots of tool into like you said, like giving yourself some grace. And I'm trying to bake that time in now because like sometimes you can't write every day. That's not
Right.
realistic. And like some days like you don't have the brain power to. It takes a lot out of you even
Yeah.
to write it like 1,000 words and you don't understand. Like I remember thinking like, oh, I could write 1,000 words so quickly. And now I'm like, it's been an hour. I have not
Yeah, some days you
written
just
500
can't.
words.
Some
Yeah,
days the
yeah,
muses abandon you
exactly.
and you're like, I not appreciated.
Yes, yeah. So being able to be flexible too, and like you said, give yourself get that grace. And I'm trying to now that I've gone through the process, like bake that into a schedule and um, make sure I have those breaks where like I'm not writing every day. I
Mhm.
am doing something every day related to books, whether it's emailing or creating something for social media or making videos or writing or working with or editing or working with my cover designer. There's always something. But Sundays is like my day where I plan the week, which is kind of a nice way to like end the weekend
Right.
and usually
Reflect on
feel
what
really
worked out,
content.
what didn't, and then just
Yeah,
adjust, move forward.
exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. What is your best piece of advice for other writers who are looking to self-publish?
Don't get discouraged. It is a lot. And like, as long as you recognize that, I know I've said it a million times, and I wish I had a better word or a better phrase because I'm repeating myself a lot, but give yourself grace. Like, it is okay to step back and you can just take that step back that you need and then keep going. But don't get discouraged. Like, it is a very long process. It's a very hard process, but you can do it if that's something you really want, you're
Mhm.
more than capable of doing it. So that's the biggest thing. Don't get discouraged and find a community of people to help you when you do get discouraged.
Right.
I guarantee that there are people that have been through what you're going through in terms of like being stuck or not, not sure if you can write or, like being in a writing rut or whatever it might
Yeah.
be, having writer's block. Like there are people who understand that, and having those people to go to has definitely changed the process for me, and it's a good outlet to have and to have someone that understands what you're going through.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just need to talk it out, and then you just continue to
It's
move
better.
on. And you said, yeah, just keep going, don't give up. Like you can definitely do it.
Yeah, I always try to think of writing it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh yeah,
It's going to take forever to get through this, and if you just try to rush, it's not going to do as well. So,
yeah, I would
um,
say that too.
yeah,
Take your
and you can't
time.
give up. You can't give up. Like you get to like you hit those like the 5K and you're in a 20K and you're like, oh, this is really rough. I don't think I can keep going.
Yeah,
You have to keep going, and you have to find that community to bolster you. Yeah.
yeah. There is, I personally don't like running, but there people get runner's high, and there is
Yes.
there is a real thing that is a writer's high. And once you
Mhm.
get it, you will understand, you'll be like, all of the work was worth it, and it's the best feeling in the world. So it is 100% worth it. But I love your analogy of like you just got to keep going and
Yeah.
find those tools, communities, people that help you keep going. And
Mhm.
one thing I found was like when I wrote my first book, I didn't keep writing after like got my second draft to my editor, and she was editing, and I was kind of like, okay, now I get to have a break instead of continuing to write. So this
Mhm.
time I'm not doing that because I'm like, I have all these ideas. I don't want to stop either. Like I want to take a step back, and I'm doing it a little slower.
Great.
But I would say like if you do take a big break, it's really hard to get back into it. So continually writing, even if it's just a short story or
Mhm.
something for yourself, like that's something that has really helped me is like continuing
Yeah.
to fuel that fire and still taking a step back when I need it, but not letting myself like go weeks or months without
Mhm.
writing.
Yeah, I think that's really important just as you start to write to really figure out how long you can go without writing.
Yeah.
And like how long you need to like recover after a big project. Like, do you need a week or two to just sit in the sun and celebrate, or do you want to get right back at it? And really understanding your own personal styles with that is so important.
Yeah, definitely.
So speaking about new books, the Wyverns Hockey Book 2 is supposed to come out, and this may or may not be accurate, September-ish, hopefully,
Yes,
maybe. Okay,
September is the goal. I've not officially announced it yet, but I am fingers crossed, planning to announce next week.
okay. And Scribblers, you should sign up for AC's newsletter, and then you could get the firsthand knowledge of that, I'm sure. Do you have a newsletter? I'm assuming you do. Okay,
I
yeah.
do, yes.
Yeah. And also follow on social media because you're going to want to know. So, can you just give us a little bit of a teaser? No spoilers to those of us who haven't finished book one, like me. But will it follow Laura and Lucas, or will it focus on other characters?
Yeah, so the first three books in the Wyvern, so that's kind of why I call it a trilogy because there's more than three books, but the first three books are Lauren Lucas. They just have so much of their story,
So
like
much that
there's
they
so
have
much
to
to
get
it.
through.
I couldn't put it in one book. I couldn't put it into I probably could have put it in two books, but I wanted to break it up a little bit. So the third book is really focused on like them gearing up for their senior year. So it
Okay.
doesn't go into a lot of detail of like the season or what their senior year is. That is going to be book three, like is really the heart of it. But
Yeah.
book two is kind of like here's how their summer is going. Laura is taking over the PR marketing team as the lead and interviewing new candidates. And so that's a huge stressor for her. Meanwhile, Lucas has a new star player on the team, has kind of had some issues with some of the guys on the team acting out prior to the new season. And he also at the same time is mentally preparing to plan for his future and wants to play for the NHL, and so he has a lot of stressors as well and kind of working through what that looks like. They go on a fun friend trip kind of to get away from that stress and anxiety, and it kind of turns into a big secret is revealed from one of their friends and kind of shakes things up a little
Hmm.
bit. So it there's some
There's a
some
lot
unplanned
happening. I'm excited for this.
yeah, there is a lot happening. And at the end of book one, there is a sneak peek of book two. So there's the first chapter of book
Okay.
one, which hopefully gets you very interested.
Mhm.
Book one could totally be read as a standalone. Book two and three could a little bit, but like together, like they would be one
Right.
book.
You're going to miss
But
that background information.
yes, yeah. So, and there definitely, I will say there will be at least four books. The fourth book is not about them.
Okay.
It's already in the already in the works because I'm always working on everything. So there is at least four planned. I might write more, I might not. I have a lot of things up my sleeve, but I'm huge, huge, huge fan of hockey, so there will definitely always be more of it to come. So
Oh, that's amazing. I love it. I'm very excited. Like I just love like all the things that you mentioned, especially like they go on a friend trip and like friend trip. Um, fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So we have reached the lightning round questions of the interview. Are you ready?
yeah, I'm
All
ready.
right. So question number one. What is the best condiment for French fries?
Ketchup, 100%.
Now, do you have a specific ketchup brand?
Um, I mean, I like Heinz, but
Mhm.
I'm not very picky. I just love, especially if it's like a salty French fry, I love
Okay.
ketchup. But also Chick-fil-A sauce is good on everything.
Chick-fil-A sauces are really good. I have to confess, I am not impressed with their chicken. I don't understand why people like it so much, but the sauces are decent.
Have you had Raising Cane's?
Not yet. We have some in my area, and I've never made it over there yet.
It's
It's
significant.
on my list.
I like theirs better, and their cane sauce also epic on French. I mean, very good on chicken, but really great for French fries too. So definitely recommend if you. It's better than Chick-fil-A,
Okay.
100%.
Well, I have a doctor's appointment over by a Raising Cane's
There you
next week.
go.
So after that appointment, I will treat
Yeah, you'll have
myself.
to let me know if you like it.
I will. I will. All right. So I love it. Catch up. What has been your second question is what is the best concert that you've ever been to?
Morgan Wallen at Neyland Stadium, I would say the second night. I went both nights. I have a problem with concerts. Live in Nashville, it's very
That
accessible,
doesn't
but I
sound like a
also
problem. That
just
just sounds like
love concerts.
dedication.
It is an expensive hobby, I will
It
say.
is.
Like I haven't spent money to see Taylor Swift, but I've seen Morgan Wallen way too many times.
Yeah.
But that was just epic. Like he's a huge Tennessee fan, so to be in that stadium, um, and the energy was
Mm.
just incredible. I went both nights and they were both great, but the second night was just, I don't know what it was about it.
Off
It
the
was
charts.
just everything about it was perfect. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, question number three. What is your favorite romance trope?
Oh, my favorite one to read or write? So
Both.
different.
Give me
Okay.
give me both. Give me both.
Yeah.
We want all the
Um,
details in this interview.
yeah, I think to write, I would say slow burn. I love a slow burn. I also like reading slow burns, but I get I get frustrated. So I get frustrated with myself sometimes. I love writing friends to lovers,
Mhm.
but I love reading enemies to lovers. I haven't written enemies to lovers yet. I have plans to, but
Mhm.
I think there's just something about like the friends to lovers dynamic that like warms my heart to write about.
Same.
But reading the enemies to lovers is just like the chemistry and the fire, the banter, like that is my favorite thing to read.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I love it too. I haven't been able to write like a true enemies to lovers right now. I have like a reluctant allies because they don't like each other.
Yeah.
Two lovers in one of my books, but that's it. So it's as close as I've
That's kind
come.
of more of what I'm going to be writing.
Yeah,
It's not really enemies, but like we
they
can still
definitely
call
hate
it
each other.
enemy.
They're
Yes.
reluctant. They're like, no. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yes, you will be kissing by the end of this. So,
Love it.
all right, your fourth question. If One Shot is going to be made into a film and you get to appear in it as an extra, who are you playing in the film?
Um, I don't know if I would want to be the main character. I would want to be Lore. I don't know if I would want to be an extra. I think being her cousin would be her best friend and cousin, Bren, that would be
Okay.
fun. She's not really she's very bubbly, very preppy, very woo girl, and like that's not really my personality, but it would
Mm-hmm.
be fun kind of to be like
To
the
play
opposite
that.
of me. But if I could be Lore, I would want to be.
Okay. All right. Well, we will let you take main character status. That's absolutely acceptable. Do
Yes.
it. Do it. Um, all right. Thank you so much for talking with us. Scribblers, you can find links to AC's webpage down below. Please check it out in order to either order One Shot, find out where she is on social media. You can read the book, read One Shot, and look for those Easter eggs and win copies of future books. Totally worth it. AC, thank you so much for joining us. And it's just been a pleasure
Yeah.
chatting with you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much.
All right, Scribblers, you know what I need you to do. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe, and we will see you next time. Happy writing. Bye.
Bye.